Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contact Lost with my co-host Majson,
Hello.
host for tonight, myself, the Joker, and our special guest, Daan, the captain of the Netherlands team.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you, and massive thank you to our sponsors, the Army Painter and Weyland-Yutani, and our community of patrons and our YouTube members. And guys, tonight, once again, we'll be talking about a Pyra Cup event, the same one we spoke about during the last episode. And I promise this is the last time we're talking about Pyra in this calendar year. Okay, I can make
I wouldn't be
that
so sure.
promise. Okay, okay. I promise this is the...
Come on, this is the channel for my advertisements.
Okay, well, in that case, I promise this is the last time you see me talking about the Pyra Cup, because I've had enough for a while. But only for a short while, Mike. Don't take it personally.
Just until the end of November.
Exactly.
I'm taking it.
So we've got Daan here tonight because the Dutchmen have won this event. Daan, how do you feel being a captain of a national team with a 100% event win record?
Surprised still, kinda, because it's a first for Team NL, and we brought a team that has a good mix of experience and relatively new guys, some really new guys. So yeah, really happy with the result, of course, but more happy with the data we get, like we get every time from Pyra and other practice events. So yeah, it was just a nice extra, I guess.
Okay, great. So have you got any other events already lined up, or don't want to risk that win record?
No, we have ETC lined up and some other international practice events. We just have to figure out the scheduling because it's all really tight since everyone had to wait for the new WTC dates, of course. And that meant everyone kind of clumped up their events. So we need to look what's logistically feasible.
Okay, understood. Right, so how did you go about choosing the team for Pyra then? In terms of, both factions and personnel, whichever you prefer to start with, or
Sure.
whichever had the, priority.
Well, factions kind of get dictated by personnel for a big part, but personnel was more of a logistical question because it's a Pyra very early on in the season. Our captaincy vote closes end of August. We closed submissions for the team start of October, which meant there's a very short run up and people have to be available. So kind of a hindrance, but it also meant that some other people got a chance that maybe wouldn't otherwise, and they've really surprised us very positively. But yeah, for sure, I wanted to have some veterancy on board because they can really help accompany the new players, help them in the rounds, help them before the rounds, especially, and process maybe some bad results or the good results. And I wanted myself not to play this event, which I regretted like half an hour into the first round already. But I really wanted to see the new guys at work. See also the older guys from the outside at work and kind of get a grip for what makes everyone tick. What are some of the improvement points for people personally, but also for what we do as a team in a process during and before rounds. And I think that was a real valuable experience.
Okay, great.
You haven't done the captain's work and the player work at the same time so far.
Not yet. I will soon enough, and we'll see how that feels. But we have some
I'm not spoiling the fun. It's
on you say, yeah.
We can talk about it later.
Sounds good. One step at a time.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting when you say you half an hour into the event you regretted not playing. I mean, usually people, I think, are thankful they're not playing when when captaining. Like this was a good decision.
like like myself for first hour into the round as a TO captain and the player. So God, why I'm doing this to myself again, and I will do this again probably.
Of course, like you do.
Like one does. Right, and Majson, what about Team Poland? What happened there? How did the team come to be? What was the
Okay,
like?
so as Dan said, this is like a specific time of the year where the teams are not being assembled fully. So there's a potential to actually make some event for fun, to invite new teams, to show the people, basically people who didn't got the chance to see what WTC play is, to basically show them and to give them some experience. And I believe that's the main like focus of Autumn Pyra. Like for example, England took completely new, nearly completely new roster of players. We also invited on our side in Team Poland. We invited a couple of veterans who you might recognize, a couple of new guys, our coaches who were like nearly taken into the team last year, and basically to give them chances to play internationally, because at some point the only way to progress is to basically play
Yes.
the game on the highest level possible. And you can't do this like inside of course you can improve and make progress inside your own community and inside your group, but it will be challenged at some point.
Yeah.
So in case of the like international training practice events, which we have like Pyro Cups, you have ETC, you have even Nordic Masters. So a couple of those are out there in Europe. Those events can actually challenge our point of view on the meta game, on the game, on the players, on our team composition, and how basically how the team performs as a whole. Because it's not at WTC nowadays, it's not only the players but entire system standing behind, like coaches, data analytics who comes from the like our community, the captain who is also responsible of like running the team and doing the formal stuff. So is there, and those events are for this. So we actually took players by the armies. We didn't like focus on the team composition like 100%. Just took the armies that were available for players, of course, and myself, who I stepped in to play. And because one of our guys dropped, so I just took one of the top armies that I'm playing. And as you probably know, I'm a meta chaser, so I took Admec. Um, yeah. So, but yeah, that was our approach for this. A couple of people dropped in the meantime. So the team was like balanced half and half, like I would say veterans and stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to then the faction spread. So Dan, if you'd walk us through what factions you actually took,
Yep.
and yeah, if those were the only options, or maybe there was something else you considered before going.
Yeah, we made some changes during the process because, for example, our Dark Angels player mainly plays Necrons and Eldar usually, but we felt Necrons, if not played by Gito, are not that well suited to this meta currently. Like World Eaters just eats them, for example. And our Steadfast Marine player was actually experimenting with World Eaters, which meant that slot freed up. Aside from that, our Eldar player usually plays Chaos Cult or played T-Sons before that, so he was quite fresh on the faction. But we felt we needed to pin Chaos Knights, of course, the triple Gatling build that everyone probably should have brought, or at least brought. And I think we were actually the only team that brought both Eldar and Edmec to pin that solution, which also meant our CK went out free and scored big points because people really couldn't pin it. They just sacrificed something, hoped it would hold, and sadly, because that army is real bullshit, it didn't hold most of the time. Other picks we took were Edmec, because I think currently Edmec is too good to pass on. There's a variety of different builds you can go, which are really strong, but Florian was really vibing with this build. We settled on it like a month ago. Like surely some tweaks of 200 points or whatever, but the Sicarian spam seems real good. What else? Orcs was a pick because of the player, of course. Jens is very comfortable on Orcs. It was his first event, so it felt smart not to put him on some meta pick, but put him on an army he knows and where he probably can get himself out of some tough situations by army knowledge. GK, same thing, more of a faction specialty. Probably wouldn't be in my top 8 armies at this point, but they're fine enough. What armies am I missing? Yeah, World Eaters, obviously, I mean, speaks for themselves. Really, really strong at this point. And Tyranids is very much a fashion specialty thing. He's been playing for a team for 2 years now, and he's one of the strongest Nits players in the world, I dare say. So him being on his favorite faction made total sense, and his points tell the story as well.
Okay. Cool. And you've actually mentioned the Grey Knights, and I want to stop here for a sec, I think,
Sure.
because we've had 5 Grey Knights at the event. And yeah, do you guys think that was like, well, you sort of erased it, what was your motivation behind that pick? But do you guys think that Grey Knights are in a good spot, or this is some sort of a complete accident that 5 out of 60 had them?
We can see the results, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
you had the Stormraven builds on the other end, which were really unstable. They had big wins on the other end and really big losses when things went wrong.
Mhm.
The normal Dread Knight builds were like classic Dread Knights amongst the 10 to 12 to 8 region most of the time. Not that exciting. I would rate them like aggressively fine at this point, but I wouldn't change my comp out of my way to suit Grey Knights in at all.
Mhm.
I think like Grey Knights got the same problem they had always when they are not like winning the stat check. They are highly dependent on the initiative roll.
Yeah.
Because if they don't have like the front line to play if they go first. And for example, in my case, when I went second in my 2 games of versus GK basically lost their first turn, probably sacrificing 1 unit for doing something, and then basically I spammed the board, and he didn't have like see the play on the table. In both cases, both against Stormraven and the classic Red Knight build, and there was like this was a play for like 5 points maximum from the Grenade player. I still believe that they're fine, army, because you can play defensively. They shouldn't lose that much, but you need to be really careful how you allocate your resources. Sometimes with the grenades, you just need to pass on doing something and try to basically wait a turn. Don't just snipe the small chaff units from the board from the distance, and then basically try to play the game.
Yeah.
So that's my impression. I wouldn't take them into team composition for 8v8 right now. They didn't solve any problems of the
No.
estimation tables, and were actually quite bad in practice. So
They added problems to the estimation table. Is what
They
you're
were
saying?
just kind of unexciting.
actually,
Not too much.
I
don't
think
Okay.
they didn't like add the problems to the. I didn't like need
Okay.
to pair Grey Knights to protect them in the pairing
Yeah.
matrix, but they're still unstable army. And when you we for example missed the coach on the event, so we didn't have like the access to the data, and the
Mhm.
data that Green Knights, for example, went second, went first, can matter
Yeah.
actually to like make some decisions on the other boards, whether to push or something. So they're quite unstable, I would say. They're still an all-rounder army that can win some stat checks,
Mhm.
which is fine. But so they didn't add like problems that I needed to just sacrifice them and or do something about them. They were just there in the table
Yeah.
with a set of the draws. So
Pretty much.
Okay. So then we've gone through the factions, but was there any like specific idea behind any of them to pivot into a certain build or play a
Um,
specific role? Of you've already mentioned you've had Chaos Knights like pinned down, right? Having Admech and Eldar, but any other faction maybe built specifically for some armies or something like that?
well, Orcs was specifically built to get it stable, most likely, and then just take a problem matchup from any of us away.
Hmm.
Um, Worked against Poland, I guess. I mean, Orcs got a 0, but at least someone of the more higher scoring players didn't have to play against that bullshit.
Hmm.
cheers.
And Dark Angels was really strong for us in pairings. I think Dark Angels are really strong in the meta at this point. There's a lot of damage too going about. Not that many armies that can solve Deathwing Knights really comfortably, so it was either really stable or you paired it into like an EC or threaten to pair it into a World Eaters and really dictate pairings that way.
Hmm.
Because melee armies, when that army is played correctly, especially with the two Redemptors, usually can't cope with it because it's a lot of damage too, usually in melee armies, and that list has 84 wounds, which are protected by -1 damage on a 2-up save. It's kind of rough for some armies out there. So I was really pleased with how they
Hmm.
worked out in the Matrix and really pleased with the scores as well. Other armies, yeah, World Eaters was obviously really strong when we could get to the scrum with it, get some problems out of the Matrix for it. If World Eaters was on its table, it usually went really well. There's always like a 13, and there's huge upside potential when we needed to push from it.
Hmm.
And yeah, like we mentioned, AdMech was really good for a CK pin if we needed it, but was really good into the rest of the meta as well. So usually very much able to push, even if it didn't get its most perfect matchup.
Okay. Cool. Right. Let's go through some matrices then. I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. So guys, bear with me. And I'll just make that full screen and have our faces go away for a while. So I've got Latvia here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was round one. Don't quite recall.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, good for me. I managed to get that in the right order. So, first of all, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot more data than I think we usually had. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about it then?
All right, so for this year, we really wanted to incorporate table choices a bit more into our matrix. That's always been kind of an Achilles heel to our pairings process, I feel,
Mhm.
because we keep really good track of how a round is going. We have a whole file where we can keep updated scores, so we can see how the round progresses on like a flow chart and whatever. And what usually happens is people arrive to their table once they have attacked into something and tell us, "Oh, cool, my estimate drops by 6 because I didn't really keep this table in mind." And that's really stabilized this event because we went with a more complicated system,
Mhm.
which incorporates table choice a whole lot more. As you can see on the top left, you can see our armies separated and color coded. The
Mhm.
top two armies assume their scores with table choice. That's our usual defenders. So that was Orcs and CK, as we mentioned.
Mhm.
Then yellow armies assume a bit of a mid-range table. There are flexes. Their primary score is on their opponent's best table, and their secondary score is on a better table for them, the smaller score. And the bottom ones, the red ones, are our usual attackers. So they
Mhm.
always have their primary score as their opponent's best table. And once again, the secondary score is if pairing miracle happens or we have to flex into something for whatever reason, they get their best table. What does that score look like now? And yes, that makes it a bit more data when we're still cleaning up the process, because for Paris, it's also a lot of data to work with. But it's really made sure that our estimations were a lot more sharpened, a lot more honed in. And I didn't see the usual drop that we have start of round one. People were a lot more confident about, hey, this is what I said. I got to my table, and I'm still pretty sure that this is happening. So that really made it easier for me as a coach in this instant to not panic into some unnecessary push calls, because everyone dropped like crazy. And it made the round a lot more stable to predict and really helped our process.
Okay. And I see here that you're going for like specific scores, not ranges, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Is that working out well for you guys?
It is. I mean, specific scores are always a lie. It's always like +2 or -2. But it really helps because, of course, you have green matchups, but you always have a green that you're maybe a bit more comfortable in than the other. So the 12 and 13 really helps separate a bit when the pairings deadlock and you have multiple good options. It makes the decision for the pairers a bit easier. Say, hey, look, this guy is slightly more confident into this. We don't need to get him over, ask him. So yeah, it works out well enough. I mean, it's never, of course, completely true, but it gives us a slightly better ballpark, and we're happy to not change it.
Okay. Okay. So yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
tending, for
Majson.
example, to have opposite and contrasting perspective on doing the pairings.
Mm-hmm.
I started to like doing the more abstraction in the pairing process. So because in my case, when I'm doing the pairings,
Mm-hmm.
I just need the information which matchup is like slightly favorable, like more favorable, or is this like a hard win with a very big win,
Mm-hmm.
or the other way around. Just that the some information about it. Then
Yeah.
with the abstraction, the tables, we can, which I have actually introduced for myself for my doing my estimations. I usually keep the information for my army
Mm-hmm.
on the separate, like not within the estimation table, but on the separate uh, Excel like card or something like that, where I divide table choice on
Mm-hmm.
which tables I got like my pairing gets better, on which table are I'm like on average, and or which table basically drops my estimation below.
Mm-hmm.
So that's and I divide this into two parts, like into versus push armies and shooting armies,
Yeah.
because that's something we can basically distinguish as two things. Then with like a really small volume of data, I can quickly check which tables are available from the from what's left to ensure that I have good tables, or to double check if I'm having the like option for doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also our observation from especially from the 10th edition, from the really very first WTC, maybe not the very first, from the second WTC in 10th edition. The thing is that the table pick is really important.
Yes.
The set of maps can be basically distinguished into three different archetypes of maps. There used to be like two mostly, but now we have three archetypes of type maps, and they work differently for different armies, and the dynamic of the matchup is different basically.
Yes.
Whether you have the staging position or open shooting lines, of course, it's like this. Maybe one day we should Joker make a podcast about the table picks and the WTC table picks, because I can talk about like 2 hours about. But keeping the like to not spend too much time. I like the abstraction in pairings. Then I can focus actually on the pairing mechanics. And
Hmm.
too much data for myself and for my style provides too much overwhelm. Especially that I know that majority of the data is not true. You'll never get 13 from the estimation 13, because it's in the random game you will always like be either +2 or -2 from the score. It depends depending on you go first, you go second. Then you can lose some secondaries on some unfortunate draw. Then you
Hmm.
get -1 from this. So it's never like the exact estimation from that. So I try to keep the abstraction so I can focus on the actually not the numbers but the tables mechanics and system, and that's and try to do the pairings like that. It's
Hmm.
not easy because we haven't found the solution for now to do it properly, and we are always missing one or two tables or decision point, and there's no time to actually process during the pairings.
No,
And it's really hard to prepare. Uh, it's really hard to prepare to do all the scenarios and cases that you have, especially that you know that your opponents have different estimation table than you.
exactly.
So, so it's not easy. It's not. I think it's not solved still. But yeah, it's curious because I see the both approaches. One is doing the more abstraction, like I do, and some guys here also try to do, and also some of our guys are trying your way to fill in all the possible data under the tables and use them for pairings.
Yeah, yeah. For us, it's very much still a work in progress. I'm not personally doing the pairings this year, but I'm very much involved in trying to sharpen the process or at least streamline it. And yeah, we tried with the data overload approach at Pyra. We're going to debrief to see what we can clean up. But yeah, there's multiple ways to roam when it comes to pairings. Every team has a small difference detail that they do different to the others.
Yep. And we also tried different approach for doing the estimation table here at Pyro. We are
Okay.
just testing when we can. We are testing,
Yeah.
and then and basically you can't like if you test something like a solution, and then you can have some feedback from players, then you have the results, then you can adapt and improve as a team in the pairing process, right?
Yep. Very much so.
Just a quick off topic. Yeah, yes, yes, Domi. I'm reading the chat, and
We all are
we are. I'm
Sadly.
trying. I'm just trying to be serious.
trying. Okay, well, thanks, Majson, that you come up with an episode idea in the middle of one, not before, so that we didn't have to fill the internet space with Pyra Cup episodes. But okay,
Come, come on. We can always call it like Pyre Cup table leagues.
oh no. All right. Well, so then, how did the games against Latvia go? I mean, did anything surprise you guys here? Was any of these estimations off, or did it all go according to plan?
This round went, I think, the most according to plan, or at least the closest to. Like, of course, the scores fell out a bit higher than the estimations did. But yeah, CK destroyed Necrons on our table. I think that game was done in like 30 minutes, which was really convenient for me, so I could send my CK player to do some grocery shopping for us. Nits against BT became a 20. Elder against Sisters was actually really close. That was the only estimate I believe that dropped this whole round. And also because it's purged foe, the estimates are very much influenced by who's going first and second. But yeah, this round was very much smooth sailing. We had a high score after pairings, and we cashed in on that high score during the round. And yeah,
Mm.
helped us solidify a good results. I believe it was a 117-ish win.
Yeah, which actually mattered at the end, right?
Yes, it did. It very much did. But we'll come to
Very
that.
much did. Yes. Yeah. We will. We definitely will. So and I got one more question around here because this is the first time I'm seeing when people like average out the scores that is are estimated into a certain faction of the opposing team.
Yeah.
How do you use that information? Like, what do you get from
Mm.
it? Because I don't quite get it, to be honest.
To be honest, not too much. It's more of a nice to have and not that much of a burden. But I don't. Personally, I've never really used it during the pairings process, but it's a quick way to see which factions are actually a bit of a problem or are sandbagging a bit too much. But you can also see that by the amount of oranges. Usually, like AdMac here has a red and orange, but I think it was because it's a bit more of a weird build. You'll see AdMax estimates drop a lot later.
Hmm.
So it's not really that relevant to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think like a lot of teams tries to do this average. I haven't also found the use of that data
No.
that would help me. But yeah, I just catch myself sometimes doing the pairings like in automatic ways because I've seen the pattern already, so I'm just
Yeah.
repeating the pattern and then
Hmm.
I already did. So it has its drawbacks because I can just miss something when following the pattern. But yeah,
Okay. Let's move on to another round. Oh, and that actually is round two. So we are going in chronological order somehow, at least for now. Oh, and you're getting, there's a lot more colors here. Pink has appeared.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh, yeah, so this is against Czechia.
Yep.
Anything surprising here? I mean, wait, has this? No, you've still got the same factions, green, yellow, and red, or yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that doesn't change per round. That's more of
Okay.
we go into the events with this as
Mm-hmm.
being our planned defenders. These are the guys that can flex. So it helps us with the estimates before the event as well to see if our comp actually works on paper or if there are some unsolved problems.
So actually, sorry if I'm cutting in here, but
Yeah, go for it.
you already have this designation when constructing the team, or did that like transpire after you saw the list? So I guess what I'm asking here is, did you
Mhm.
have like a master matrix of the meta, and that's where this information selection came from, or this is like event specific already?
No, this actually came from a master matrix. We got our guys to fill in like their top three factions, and for the guys who don't really have three factions, some different builds for the faction. So, for example, for orcs, we had a more attacker-oriented build that didn't depend too much on table, and
Hmm.
this build which relied on its table. And we kind of compared scores, what it did for our matrix, and this is kind of the end product of that process.
Okay, because I'm asking because you yourself said about pinning Chaos Knights, and then you've got Chaos Knights here as a primary defender, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, or not all, if any, of the teams had the Eldar and Advec combination at this event. So I was curious if that like came in afterwards. But okay, good to know. So anything about the Czechia game that was, I don't know, maybe interesting, surprising to you, or worthwhile to mention? I actually see that you all felt fairly comfortable into Drukari, which are the latest release, and I guess by some considered some sort of hotness at least. Maybe this.
Maybe because we don't really have a
Mhm,
mega talented Drukari specialist currently on the roster.
mhm.
And we didn't have a lot of singles events where the very best Drukari players of the Netherlands played. But I think this is mostly people thinking, hey, how did I perform into old Decrari? It's not a very well respected army, as you see in the Netherlands. And yeah, that's kind of held true here. Funnily enough, one of the lower scores paired into it and actually got the 10.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's better than we thought, but I don't think the Drukari of Czechia really set the scoreboard alight in the other rounds as well. So I think the estimates were pretty accurate on that part, sadly. Yeah, this is one of the rounds where you can see one of the problems we actually had, which was world leaders defending in a team comp, especially if they had EC as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because a trap we kind of fell into, or something we overlooked on the Master Matrix, I guess, is what if people defend two melee armies after one another? Because we didn't really bring enough solutions to that, I think. We were really
Mm-hmm.
pleased that we pivoted to Dark Angels to solve that problem, but we very quickly, after a list submission, now realized, oh, wait. So if Dark Angels attacks into World Eaters, what else is going to attack into there?
Mm-hmm.
And then the solution pretty much became, cool, we're just going to force JC to play the mirror a whole lot. Which worked out perfectly fine score-wise, but believe me, we're not really happy about that being the solution. But luckily, Czechia didn't defend two melee armies after one another, which meant we still had that kind of pin on World Eaters with the Mirror and Dark Angels.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, through the rejection process, we still managed to get EC into them. So we limped into a fine situation, but as you will see into England, that potential problem actually can become a problem later on. So pairings went really well here in the end, and yeah, the scores really escalated in a big way here, which we didn't expect because Czechia finished above us, of course, at WTC. So we have huge
Mm-hmm.
respect to them. We practice a lot against them individually. So yeah, really happy to get a real clean result here, and that really gave us a lot of momentum going into the round 3.
Okay, so into round 3 we go, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the round versus Poland.
Yep.
All right.
So, what we got here? A few more reds.
Yep.
But at least you got the estimation of world eaters in total right. I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people was completely not aware of, about that.
Yeah, I think that estimation was adjusted from being an orange to a red after we saw Colgar score into England. But our JC already said, cool, in preparation of the event, me and another world leader player of the team went through the Tau matchup and thought, cool, let's just do a shot count and see how many Berserkers should die. Ah, cool, I can't deal with this list. Ah, cool, I can deal with this list. And this list was one of the lists they couldn't deal with. And the other oranges are mostly coming from, well, World Eaters once again, because we felt opponent had a great number of answers to it. And Elder specifically. We were kind of skeptical at first because the Elder Matrix into other countries was actually pretty great. But after some second thought, we felt, oh, these are actually accurate. Opponent has some really great Eldar answers in their comp, and we'll be
Yeah.
happy to get some form of points from them. Which ended up happening by getting it into one of its, well, not 5 words matchup, but a 6 word matchup, which is still an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, to be honest, the Eldar versus GK is better for Eldar.
Okay.
Yeah, and also Eldar versus Raven Guard could actually work
Okay.
outside. But yeah.
Yeah, Raven Guard is an odd one, I think, because I really think that army should have a lot of potential, but on WTC terrain, I'm yet to see really great results from them.
Yeah, the issue is that the Raven Guard needs to pick the table
Yeah.
to work. So you will never reach attack Eldar first because you have the other answers to Raven Guard.
Yeah.
And after like first two rounds of pairing, then and the last four, you can just basically pair Eldar into Raven Guard, and it will be fine because there will be no table for Raven Guard to play.
Yeah, that's why we kind of didn't consider Raven Guard as well, because yes, it needs stable, but it also has some really good counters out there. So we felt it was a kind of a, what do you say, unreliable liability. That's the word.
Also, interesting pick is Elder versus. Yeah, I'm speaking a lot about Elders because you know I was I
Because you love them. We all know you
no
love
no
them.
no I never played them, never never.
No, never.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elder matchup into guard, like Recon guard,
Yeah.
is also kind of tricky
Okay.
because actually it's quite hard for guard to win this.
Is it?
I think so. If you play proper, like not properly, but play the warp spiders in a way so they can double activate with shooting and then overwatching,
Mm-hmm.
and try to, because you have also hawks to snipe the targets,
Yeah.
uh, and you prepare your staging position, like sacrifice one turn of scoring, and then prepare your staging, kill like 20 guardsmen with spiders, move blocking one piece of the board,
Mm-hmm.
stage the army. Then in a go turn, you can basically delete the entire guard army, recon army, with basically everything.
Okay.
When you do, but you need to like be really precise with movement to do
Yeah.
that, and it's like not easy to perform, and many things can go wrong. But I wouldn't say like this is a bad matchup, but it's a game
Got
that
it.
can go both ways.
Yeah, we had some trouble estimating into Recon Guard because we don't really have someone who plays it, and we've been really impressed, of course, with the scores from the likes of Nemo internationally and
Yeah,
Petit Nico.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I wanted to see the guard in like practice.
Mm-hmm.
The guy from our team was one of our candidates, and newer members. He jumped in last minute because we missed eighth player, and he's a guard player, and he had the Great guard ready to play. So I just without second thoughts, I wanted to try it out
Yeah.
in a practical way.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, in the when seeing the amount of world leaders armies and AdMech armies,
Yeah.
they just don't do well. They were really good into like Eternal Knights meta game,
Death Guard.
uh, Death Guard and stuff like that, but not right now.
Yeah. Makes
Too
sense.
many, like they are really good against shooting armies,
Yeah. But
basically.
against melee pressure, with enough volume, they just crumble. And that's what happened in this round as well. Like, we got Edmec into it. Edmec won
Yeah,
the infiltrate roll off. Edmec went first, and then it's pretty much game over unless Edmec makes a big mistake.
yeah, exactly. So it's, our it was like one of the last matchups we needed to sacrifice something, and this was like we, the guard just didn't went work in the pairings,
Yeah.
and we had to throw it under the bus somewhere. I
Yeah.
hate doing that, but
We all do.
that was specifically the problem of our team comp that arrived. That some of the earlies got like wrong, also assumptions on the like what's their role, and that
Mhm.
also generated a mistake on our side on the pairing process. In the second round, we defended with sisters instead of like keeping sisters as a defending with Grey Knights and keeping sisters as an answer to world leaders.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was like that was the thing was done wrongly,
Hmm.
because we in our table there was an assumption to give sisters the table pick, and yeah, but against world eaters basically on the table they will be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
we
was,
were kind of relieved that you guys defended it in this round as well, because that meant we could try and
yeah,
dump one of our
that that
options into there.
that was basically something that came out, and because sisters can yeah, you have a lot of greens over there.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, when you, for example, no, like defend, the greens are gone basically to drawish, because the sisters then become the drawish army if
Mm-hmm.
they have the table pick. But sisters actually counter melee pressure armies,
Yeah.
which is like super convenient against world eaters.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like in world eaters, and when we have a lot of counters to world eaters,
Mm-hmm.
then basically we should have done this in that way. That way, not like attacking grenades there, which came out in a disaster basically, and crashed the entire matchup for us.
Yeah, that score really set the tone for the rest of the round and means you guys have to make some really inconvenient push calls, and that can backfire, of course, very much.
Exactly. So that's basically what happened in pairings.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also we didn't have had like the two answers to the CK defending, which were
Yeah, correct.
basically also a problem, because Admec and something, and then we probably could have attacked it with guard, but it's not, and I think it would be also a very big score for CK, not only 8, but yeah.
Yeah, checks out.
So I can see here that you've changed your strategy a little bit here, because you still defended with Chaos Knights first, but
Yeah.
then your second defender was the World Eaters. So was that uh, like purely because two of the maybe not preferable matchups were already out, so Raven Guard and Sisters, uh,
Yeah.
Just
or yeah?
one thing I noticed: the needs that you have here are actually a counter to CK.
Yeah, we thought so. That's why we were kind of hesitant about it. Like, our guy was really confident he would have the amount of shots. Our Nits player wasn't. So when we saw you didn't offer AdMech and Nits, which we expected you did, and
Yeah,
you did Raveguard's Nits, we were really happy to just take Ravenguard out of the equation.
the admech was left for actually countering your admech, because I got all the tools. Yeah, basically all the tools to win the mirror,
There you go.
as we discussed with Florian as well. That my admech was basically prepared to play the mirror matchup to win.
Hmm.
So we didn't want to sacrifice admech in the first go.
Yeah,
We thought Ravengard will manage. It didn't. But Needs itself, seeing the 15 here, then our Needs player played 2 times versus CK,
yeah,
and both were like high wins. So there is the amount of shots to win this matchup.
yeah. That's what we figured as well.
Okay, Majson, do you want to pull up the Poland versus Netherlands now?
Yeah,
Just to
I,
have some
I,
comparison. I don't know if we can do them side by side, although I guess you'd probably not see anything out of it anyway. So,
I'm not sure.
um,
Not sure if we
but
can, but
at whilst you're doing that, oh, we actually maybe we could. How does this work? Now I can either spotlight this or I can remove everyone from the scene. So I guess it's not quite going to work. Before we go into this one, though, one final question. So, Dan, again, here, did anything here surprise you, or do you think anything in hindsight was were any of these off, apart from maybe that Chaos Knights into Nits?
Yeah, Orcs into AdMech, but that's a funny one still because I still can't really decide. Not specifically maybe into Myson's AdMech build, but how that matchup should go. Been won big by Orcs and AdMech both, and that's been the trend over the whole of the edition actually. So that's a funny one.
Mhm.
And yeah, aside from that, the World Eater against GK, of course, but that was because I instructed my GK to go for a big balls play, which ended up paying off. Because yeah, the Storm Raven can be real messy in that matchup. So he
Mhm.
went for it because it was search and destroy. He went for a big slingshot charge. which eliminated GK turn 1 essentially. But that could have very much went wrong for us, so there was some luck on our end.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that was really good call. That basically set up the entire match dynamic. And
It's a good call in hindsight because, of course, if it goes wrong, well, we have a different story at the end of this.
I mean, you can still there's still a game then.
True.
This wouldn't end up like in a 0 or something.
Yeah.
I think like you can all you have all the tools with world eaters to block the army, and then GK from deep striking around. This should then end like a draw or something like that.
Yep. Yeah. At worst for World Eaters, there's huge upside potential if there's a big mistake from GK. And I think one of the mistakes that was made, both here and with England player as well, was putting the Storm Raven in aircraft. I think if you do that, sure, World Eaters can't damage it, but they can very easily, at least JC's list, because it has a lot of small trash units, screen it off the table and make sure to deal with it in that way. And they also don't have to take the damage into account turn 1, so they can deploy a lot more aggressively and take a lot more table space.
Exactly. You basically you won't kill the Storm Raven in one go as well. It's and if you do, there will be always something to counter. So not having Storm Raven turn 1 on this particular matchup can go really bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it did go really bad here and against England as well.
Yeah. So yeah.
Try and test it. We've got a question in the chat from Adam, so we can answer it now, or you guys can.
Yeah.
So, are you, as captains and coaches, still looking for big wins in pairings, or are you finding the meta fairly squashed towards smaller wins losses, and you're looking more at small wins?
It depends. I would say.
Yes, the best answer to any question in 40k.
Yeah, I'm trying. The problem is that the big wins comes usually with the not only with the game itself, but also like micro mistakes or major mistakes done.
Yeah.
And it's not even the skill difference, but the big wins comes from the like someone pushing one turn too early or too late. So macro decisions. So if you're aware of the matchup, your opponent is aware of the matchup, then basically the game shouldn't end like in a really big win for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes happen, of course, and it's up to your skill to do it. But yeah, what's the tendency that and the conclusion I have from the last past tournaments and something we missed at WTC, for example, are the push armies, especially in 8v8 environment, are really important, like melee pressure. Even if they tables like world eaters against us, they're binary. So a couple for good matchups, for bad matchups. You can like still pair them and avoid bad matchups for such armies, and they're essential to get these high scores somewhere. Like so, it depends. Basically, answer the question. It depends on the team composition. My conclusion is that having two armies, two or three push armies that score that are designed for doing the big scores is the way to go. Because if you come with like 6 all-rounders to the 8v8 environment, you will get punished by such like push armies if you try to defend like with something, and you can't prepare for everything.
Correct.
At this state of the game. Of course, we have AdMech case, but like to be honest, this is like a bullshit army which will get nerfed really quickly. So, but in general, still, if there is a possibility for a big win, we go for it,
Yeah.
because they are basically a safe spots, safe solution, because someone can fail on the other table, bad luck or something, and you
Yeah.
need this additional, like a space, like capacity to those additional points that basically compensate for the like losing points somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how we went about it as well. Like our very obvious push army for Mars was World Eaters, at Mac for the reasons Majson just described. And we basically went into the rounds with kind of a team talk, say, cool, these three guys, you guys can look for opportunities to push, and you don't even need to call a coach over to be asked for a push call. You can just call the coach over to say, hey, I found the gap, I'm pushing.
Mhm.
Which ended up helping a lot, I believe, because those players actually set up their macro strategy to exploit those kind of gaps if they could create them, which was kind of an inverse of how we did it before. Before, we usually, if we got a win out of barracks, we just said, cool, everyone hold stable, which meant you had to pivot really late on in the game if one of the games went south in a big way, or even two of them, and meant people had to go for way riskier pushes because they are not set up for them. They were just told to play stable, so they've set up to be stable. And going to a big push score from there usually means taking a whole lot of risk. So for us, it was more of a pre-round thing, which developed from pairings, seeing, hey, we have World Eaters, for example, for against Poland, against GK. He has a Storm Raven that can be real flippy in the matchup. Try and set up for a big win into it if he tries to put in an aircraft mode. Or, for example, Florian with AdMech, you're playing into guard, really great matchup for you. Try and squeeze every point out of it that you can. CK into Rave Guard, same thing. You see has made a deployment mistake. It's a 50-50 chance. There's only a small drop off, but a big win to be got. Go for the 50-50 in that case.
Mhm.
So we went for a more pre-game approach, which I think helped a lot because it made it a lot more stable for us during the round as well to know, okay, the round is going all right. We have some small drops, but I know I have these tables that I can keep an eye on to see if I can compensate those points because those players are already looking for the opportunities.
Okay, cool.
And also from like my perspective, as I'm often playing some kind of a push armies,
Hmm.
if you risk in the game and take this risk to put the early pressure, you're actually, what are you risking? Usually, if you everything goes good, you'll end up with a high score,
Yeah.
and if you fail, you basically lose maybe 1 or 2 points from your estimation, like one level of estimation,
Yeah.
usually, like because you'll still like block your opponent from scoring secondaries. For example, going first, playing aggressively,
Yeah.
is probably the advantage, and I find it like that it's all nearly always worth a risk.
Yeah. I agree.
And especially if you have like a couple of push armies, you're risking on 3 tables, and then basically on 2 tables the push went up for like plus 12 points in total, and on one table -4, but you're still at +8. In
Exactly.
the so let's go for it. That's my approach. It was interesting because I found out the like the abstraction and like the pattern that happens when I'm trying to push and like drive my tanks to the opponent's home objective. It happens, and but when I'm trying to do this playstyle, there's always like in a tournament, there's always one game that goes wrong.
Hmm.
So, but for other games, go went, like well, and one goes wrong. It's all fine, like from the scoring perspective.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting. Because I've made that switch myself last year as well when I went onto EC for the team. I actually found that usually it's correct to just push.
yeah,
Because the drawback is okay, sure, you get tabled by turn 4, maybe if the push doesn't work, but you've been denying their points, like you said, their secondary, mostly their primary, even because they're locked in their DZ, even, and sure, they score late game, but it's still a stable score for you because you have been the guy with agency the whole game.
Especially if you go first, then basically, if you don't do like basically if you do nothing, the opponent will score primary at the end, more primary points at the end. So
Exactly.
you are in a disadvantage position. So you need to do something.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I really believe in the going first. Of course, there are like exceptions to that, like Grey Knights, that where I want to go second, but usually I want to go first, despite the thing that basically scoring at the end. The game is designed to score at the end.
Hmm.
Or more points, but usually going first, taking the staging position, move blocking, and basically threatening the opponent is way more profitable than playing the stable game.
Yeah, totally agree because you can make the game happen on your terms.
Yeah, exactly. And the issue that I'm like finding, it's usually that players tend to like deploy too defensively,
Yeah.
and when you do that and your opponent gets the offensive advantage, you can, even if you don't go first, uh, you will have zero threat turn one, and you're still in an aggressive position to play the game. So, well, it depends. It's actually the deployment matters, and it's worth always checking the things and deploying the things in correct order to see what can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that was. I think that was a long and elaborative answer to the question. So let's now take a look at the Polish matrix, and Majson, maybe you tell us a little bit about it, and then maybe we can talk about the differences real quick, because I can
Yeah.
already see
So
3 or 4.
so basically, the table is similar to our case. That one estimation 7 is something which is a roll off, or something which I call a game. So I started to like to define some pairings as a game. So anything can happen. The matchup is like depends on the initiative roll on some like my matchup versus world leaders. Highly depends on the advanced rolls of world leaders, and if world leader player uses command points correctly. One mistake on both sides, and the game just basically crashes. Uh, so that's the estimation 7 might mean this, or just a classic roll off. So something that's basically we can try to use this pairing into pairing, and try to actually do it like I was being kept to actually try to counter AdMech. So we are keeping myself and Tau into AdMech. Uh, that's why I didn't attack the CK, because probably CK should have then took me on the most unstable, and yeah, and score some points. About the table, what's different? We had this additional information which about the table peak. So we got like per opponent's army table peak with our defender army, so sisters, and the order of tables is written here. If they matter, uh, we are putting them in order here.
Mm.
As you can probably see, like most of the things are not filled in, but
Classic, classic.
it's kind of classic. But our
Uh,
two defender armies that were meant to take the tables, they have it.
Good on them.
Uh, yeah. So the plan minimum, bare minimum is done, basically. Uh, I wouldn't say it was like super convenient because to use, but yeah, well, I'll show you the thing that mattered in a better way. This is the something I mentioned that I started to actually use for myself when I was preparing for WTC in my Elder stuff. Oh, sorry, I just realized I said I played the Elder. Uh,
That's a mistake at the meta.
I'm done.
Never
uh,
be
I,
the allegations again.
I'm done. Okay, mistakes happen. Um, okay, so we have like table picks, and then the key is that green table rises the estimation, yellow just is the same estimation, orange decreases the estimation, and we have this two differentials versus shooty and versus push armies. So, for example, as the sisters, what you can see is that versus shooting armies, the estimation, the table matter, but they're mostly fine against any like any on a table they can put fight versus melee pressure.
Mhm.
It doesn't generate too much data, so you can quickly during the pairings you can actually go to another card and then basically double check if everything's going correct. And the same thing is basically was done by for the Raven Guard. That was actually 2 hour picks, and when we were doing the team composition, we also considered Death Guard and World Leaders in a Gore Truck detachment as potential armies, and we needed to defend our armies, and we needed to basically check if their table picks are not conflicting with each other.
Mhm.
So this is like quite a convenient tool for not only for pairings but also for team composition
Yeah.
preparation, and then basically all the information that we needed for the tables are there. And what you can see versus on Search and Destroy, Raven Guard can play on some tables and cannot play on the other tables, which is basically the dynamic of Raven Guard. So we need to put, or this tells us that we need to put Raven Guard as a defender before we lose the tables marked
Yeah.
in green. So it is like super convenient to have this table in the on the right for some armies like Admech, because of reasons table pick doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but not that much because
Yeah.
this is, those are like all rounder armies, and you can play anywhere, anything. But like sisters were like critical to play, which to put as defender, for example, in the Crucible battle, which is yeah. This is of course player data, so there might be mistakes. But as a captain, I really value this information.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting stuff. So, still, despite that, you didn't defend with Raven Guard.
No, because the plan was to actually we needed something to attack
Mhm.
versus CK to make a draw of there.
Mhm.
Because we knew that we needed to have the AdMech all ready for the
Mhm.
other purpose.
Yeah.
We are actually trying to hunt, for example, craft rolls, which is probably like because my ultimate list got the indirect weapons on the disintegrators. So
Yeah.
basically, the list should crush elders if it goes first. This is the like 4 is the worst case scenario. But
Mhm.
if I go first with indirect versus Eldar, there's nothing. This is a probably big win.
Yeah.
So we're trying to actually save Admec for such thing,
Mhm.
because the other reason that I didn't want to play against this CK on their table pick, because I did have this indirect, which is not anti-tank shooting versus CK,
Yeah.
and all is
Mhm.
basically depends on my rolls on last cannons, which might go either one way or another. So we're
Yeah.
quite convinced that we don't want to attack. In this particular case, this team composition, we didn't want to attack with Admec. So we decided to Terranites were there, and we wanted to, which is this one, and we needed to do something
Yeah.
else. And we get
Mhm.
and the last screen we had here was the Raven Guard army, so which
Okay.
of course is the table required, but we thought that without the table, it will play for a draw.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it still can. But there's, of course, very much always with the CK Gatling the chance that things can go really wrong really quick. But in
Uh,
theory, we also thought Raven Guard could be able to blunt it.
Yeah, and I know because I on last ETC I played 3 times with Admec, pre-update Admec versus, but still really good army versus CK. I
Yeah.
played 3 times against CK. Two were big wins for in my favor, and one was completely loose because I failed 2 shooting phases in a row. So it happens
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm. Okay.
Can't wait for CK to be nerfed.
Yeah, I would like to play some CK before they nerf it. I like the army.
Hmm.
30 minutes of play, and then you can go chill out with people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it does have its upsides. Okay, and then what were the main differences that I
I
was
think we
looking
are
at?
completely underestimating Dark Angels.
Uh,
Funnily enough, our Dark Angel Matrix into you was pretty bad. Maybe if
yeah.
Jack can share the screen again. Probably the worst
Uh,
out of all, but it's a pattern with other teams. People are really underestimating it because we think it solves a big amount of problems in the meta currently. AdMech, funnily enough, being one of them. Deathwing Knights are pretty annoying to shift and can be real swingy. Combination with the Lion, like I've seen AdMech armies bounce on it a couple of times. The Redemptors make the matchup a lot better for AdMech, of course, than maybe a full Rough of the Rock build. But mainly it's a great melee counter, and there's a lot of damage to, like I said, in the meta. So Dark Angels really loves to be existing in that pool. And it got a bit of a luck in this round as well against Max, against the Sisters, because we estimate that as a small loss, but some swings really went our way, which can happen with that
Mhm,
annoying Dark Angel list, and then it just escalates into, I believe, a 13.
mhm. Because-
sure. So yeah, like you said, the Dark Angels don't have didn't have too good of a matrix in the composition, but I want to ask about orcs because
Yes.
here, here meaning I'm showing the Dutch matrix now. Orcs are well, they've got fairly good scores. Like the okay, actually, my mind is used to seeing the colors and the ranges of scores that we're using here, and you've got specific numbers. So when I'm seeing 6 greens, it is like 12 or more. You've got actual 12 here written.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like really small wins across the board, given a table pick. And then the Polish one actually has everyone's getting also like 11 12s into the orcs. So
I think
guys,
this is
what's
the
going
org
on here?
story for the whole of the edition, basically. At least when Warhorde is the best attachment.
Mm,
But yeah, I think Orcs is in a really weird space at this point. I think there's a lot of potential in it, but it requires a really, really skilled pilot, Brian Sipe, for example, to really take it home. Because if you, funnily enough, our World Eaters player wanted to play Orcs after Pyra because he was kind of done with World Eaters, but then in the car
Mhm.
ride, he checked out the Orc data sheets and was like, why is this all so much worse than World Eaters? Like every data sheet. So you really need to get the most out of some maybe suboptimal data sheets to really unlock the potential from orcs, which makes the matrix always a bit skewed in both ways.
But orcs, on the other hand, orcs got like two really interesting mechanics. Like they have a lot of stuff to do things on board.
Yeah.
So you can play the safe game, deny some objectives, then push, for example, with boys or to move block the table, and they have like a really big go push turn with Wa,
Yeah.
where suddenly they're becoming really annoying to kill,
Hmm.
and the game itself usually relies on like one push turn, aggressive turn done in the correct place.
Yeah.
So in terms of like game mechanic, the orc army is really well suited for doing the correct thing. But it's really due to like as you said, the data sheets being in a weird spot compared to the other like newer codexes.
Hmm.
It's you need to actually do this push turn in the correct way.
Yeah.
Not yeah. Against orcs, you cannot like sit and play defensive game because
No.
if you do it, you will get pushed and killed, and before you kill all the orcs back, they'll score the board. So yeah. Um, so basically, I agree. I think like the table is the correct estimations are more like mix of orcs and of ours and yours.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
It's a funny one.
it is, especially when you Jacker. Can you show the Dutch estimation table for?
I can, sure.
Yeah,
There we
the
go.
thing is, what I noticed is basically you're if you have table pick, you are winning everything like 10 up, and if you don't have table pick, it's 10 minus.
For orcs, you mean?
Yeah,
I think that's mainly a byproduct of Yin's our orc player being not experienced at all in team events, and this being his first really proper big matrix he filled in.
yeah.
So take it with a pinch of salt. But once again, he did a perfect job for us for his first ever
Yeah,
international event. So
I played against him, and he was a really nice opponent. And but I'm only referring not to the player but to the estimation table.
yeah.
It's usually not the if you see something like that, it's 100% not true.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at some points, for example, you can do the other pairings in a way so you can pick the bad tables for orcs, and then basically those 4 6s and 8s will become the better scores. So
Yeah.
something to why I don't like short that. Like the abbreviation that if you have a table pick, it's for example to like 4 points or 12 points, because it's usually not giving enough information about which table to pick.
Yeah.
um,
Well, there's
and
another layer to how it is done because, as you can see, the small numbers are also color coded.
mhm.
I don't remember personally. The pairing teams knows what color means what, but that also indicates, hey, this is a 4 if I'm on a fire lane table specifically.
Okay,
So on a
yeah,
balance table, it's a different score, for example.
I see. Yeah,
So there's another layer of complication still, but hey, I'm not going to burn my hands on that personally.
yeah. That's I'm also like looking for the good system in our tables. The best what work for us is basically make like I showed this a table for defenders to keep keep it separately when it matters for the army,
Yeah.
and then to use the small tags that with the table pick you can get the higher score in
Yeah,
estimation.
exactly.
So it's not perfect yet, but something that we are working on. So
Same here.
back to our table, I guess.
Maybe. But I think I was going to ask if there's anything that surprised either of you, or anything that you strongly feel you had more rights about.
I think our tables are more or less. Like we made a straight up mistake with our the second round of the defender with second defender. We defended with sisters and didn't keep them for attacking the world leaders,
Yeah.
and that was like mistake that
Mhm.
then crushed our pairings basically, and we are the underdog after the pairings.
Mhm.
Despite having the when you see our estimations here, this is like five greens, which okay, this one should be a draw,
Yeah.
and two draws and one orange, which
Mhm.
basically ends up to, to four loses over there. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah, and
uh,
after the first battle round as well, because it's search and destroy, and we already had two big swings in our favor with the AdMech going first and winning the infiltrate, with GK versus World Eaters really quickly spinning out of control.
yeah.
Mhm.
I could already manage the round knowing we had two pretty much dead on 20 zeros in the pocket, which meant I had a lot more freedom in letting the other table stabilize, not having to take any risk, and capitalizing on the opportunities that were, which meant that it was our round to lose from that point onwards.
Yep.
Okay. And do you recall coming out of pairings? Would it look like for you guys? Because I can't see this information here right off the bat.
Yeah, I have it open. I believe. I believe it was a pretty comfortable win, like a 93, if memory serves.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not taking into account the upside from World Eaters
Yeah,
and
yeah, of
Great Knights
course.
potentially.
Yeah, because that was
So after that,
probably
we were
during the
already
game.
looking at like 100-ish estimation wise, because
Mm-hmm.
we also incorporate that's orcs against AdMech would probably be a lot less than what was predicted. So
Mm-hmm.
from that point onwards, we were kind of cruising and didn't have to do anything crazy.
Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Well, congrats on the win once again.
Thank you.
And let's move to the next one. Next one was Lithuania.
Yeah, a lot
And
of orange in this matrix, huh?
yeah, exactly. So, any surprises here in terms of their team comp or during the games?
Well, this is another team that had the problem, which we recognized too late, which was the double pressure army defender, so EC and world
Mm-hmm.
eaters. On Crucible, they can both be facilitated on good tables, so we were really worried they would defend those one after another, draining us
Mm-hmm.
from our pins, which meant one of those would have a good score. But luckily, that didn't happen because they also have CK on their team, which means
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of forced to defend CK early. Otherwise, our CK takes their preferred table, and if the roll off of the tables goes wrong for them, meaning
Mm-hmm.
they win it actually, we can then take with the second defender the other CK preferred table, which means the scores against CK change drastically.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a relief in that pairing. Aside from that, we knew Sisters was one of their strongest players, so we threw GK into there to sandbag it. Aside from that, anything special? Yeah, and EC also one of their good players, but we have Nits has a really good EC counter. It's always performed well for us, and here it delivered the 14 as well, which is also in its matrix. So yeah, pairings went well. We executed well on it, and we got a comfortable win in the end.
Okay. Well, sounds like nothing more to elaborate on, and I really want to get into that last one because I think that
Yeah,
one's interesting.
for sure is.
And so the game versus England, I felt going through the pairings during the event or streaming
Mm.
that something didn't quite go right. So, do
That
you
is
also agree with that, or?
Not only do I agree with that, our estimation after pairings agreed with it, which is the most worrying part. Because after pairings, which went wrong because they did do the dreaded combination, as you can see at the bottom right, they defended secondly with EC, followed
Mm,
by World Eaters,
mm-hmm,
which meant they already took our Dark Angels out of the equation, which meant World Eaters, well, we just, uh, yeah, didn't have any counters left.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, that went really wrong, composition wise and in practice as well. And yeah, then rest of the pairings we also messed up the scrum. I believe we didn't predict correctly which attacks they would put into our defender, which meant also the champion kind of got well, to put it bluntly, fucked for us. Uh, so yeah, we had a 70 after pairings, and the only time this happened actually during the events, one of the guys came to their table and said, "Hey, I don't actually score this. I'm scoring a 0." So I was working from the start of the round before any dice were rolled with a 62 in pairings.
mm-hmm,
So we were kind of sweating from that point onward because we knew, okay, we've never been in this of much of a dominant position as Team NL before. Are we actually going to fuck this up at the last hurdle? Hopefully not. So our coach, who couldn't attend, our head coach Thomas Verkooyen, did some math at home. Like, hey, if England doesn't score more than 112 against you, they can't overtake you. However, Poland is the more threatening one because they're playing Lithuania, and they're going to be going for really big scores there because they know that's the only way to win the event. So I had a math thingy in the table that also predicted how the round was going. With okay, what does Poland now need to score to overtake us? And at some points in the round, the scores went even worse for us. We were looking at like a 54. So I was actually sweating like, oh my god, we're actually throwing. But I didn't panic in the sense that I made rash push calls or whatever. I was still banking on what I discussed before. I had some guys who were looking for opportunities. Once again, World Leaders and NetMac in this case, and kind of waited on their games to develop. And those games, once again, the Storm Raven for GK got screened out, so that developed really positively, really fast. And the Watern for the orcs filled into AdMech. I believe the gas brick filled like a 6-inch charge with a reroll. Classic orc behavior. And then the orcs got basically tabled, so that flipped from the 7 we had into estimations into an 18. So we actually came around from that 54 into like a 72. So
mm-hmm.
we almost managed to draw, but I was at that point not even focusing anymore at salvaging the round. I was more about not losing too hard so we could actually win the event. So
And
happy that came out well enough.
on our perspective, we got the information that you're probably losing,
Yeah,
so all of our guys were just pushing as high as possible.
yeah, I
So,
figured.
so it was actually a really fun, one of the most fun endings of Pyras. I don't remember if we had such a case before. In the yeah, in the tournament we have when you have 6 teams basically with fixed pay rings, you know what's going, and you
Yeah,
can actually adapt to it. Yeah, it was like it was really fun to do this run at the end and at
yes,
least try. So, but yeah, good job for doing the right calls, and kudos to Thomas. He's like his was us, if I see it correctly from the chat.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, also it was fun. It was really fun. I was and a great end of the event.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when we were looking at the scores on BCP. Oh, Poland has done 2 games. Oh, 2-20-0s.
Yeah.
Damn, we really need these scores to come in big now.
It ended up you having like 15 points of advantage, so it's
Yeah. Yeah, it
you,
was tight. So that really comes down to some of the swings in our international round. So Poland versus Netherlands going our way because, of course, every point we gain there is a point you lose. So that's
yeah,
what they call in football a classic 3-pointer.
yes,
6-pointer even, I
Oh yeah,
think.
right.
Yeah. 3 is what you usually get. Anyhow, yeah, I think that's also kind of makes it more interesting for spectators as well and people watching from the outside, right? When you've got 2 teams in the running, really to all the way to the end,
Yeah.
or 3, because I think mathematically England could also have taken it if they did like 160-0 against you or something like that. Actually, I don't think it's that high, but you
Yeah, they
get the
needed
point.
like a big score to overtake us, and then they still had to worry about Poland at that stage.
Yeah. Yeah, but the difference between Poland and England wasn't that big. It was like
yeah.
4 or 5 points going into the round. So
I'll
uh,
double check that.
I think it was 4. Yeah, but that is
Yeah,
what it is. So
at the end we have like 30 points difference.
Mm.
yeah,
So
at the
it
end,
was
but go after
yeah, it
round
was
4, it was I think 4 points. So a lot less.
yeah.
It was very tight
Yep.
between those two.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
Uh,
after the pairings went wrong for us, it was anyone's game. So that made it for a really
mhm.
exciting finish. And yeah, really nice tournament altogether because every top team, if you can call it that, beat each other because we beat Poland, Poland beat England, England beat us. So that's meant the teams were really well balanced, which is nice.
Yeah, it's really fun then when you have this. And also, what's the benefit of the event in such a situation? You can check how your team is working, like
Yeah.
as a whole. And we missed our coaches right now to deliver some information, for example.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
So just to summarize this round, at which point do you think exactly it went wrong? Was it the matter that they attacked you with something you didn't quite expect, or the fear the double melee push defenders, or just all of those bits and pieces
Let's
at
have
the
a
same
think.
time?
So the Tau first defender, I think GK was the wrong call to put into that in the end. Not that we needed GK later in the Matrix, but that appeared to be a worse matchup than we thought.
Mm,
The CK first defender on our end was correct, but maybe we should have taken Leaks of Voten out of there instead of the CK mirror, but we felt we had a small advantage. But the CK mirror is so swingy that it ended up being a disadvantage to us.
mm,
What else? Then we have the Orc second defender. Yeah, we accepted Votan. We didn't really know much about the Votan build from England, but it was a straight up counter to Orcs, so we probably should have taken Elder out of there because Elder became a problem for us later. So yeah, just
mm-hmm,
small mistake on small mistake, which meant we were on the back foot in the scrum. We took the wrong route there as well because we went for a risk to kind of crawl back into it, which ended up not paying off once again. So yeah, just multiple small mistakes which added up because there's no like big blowout scores estimation wise. Like no reds we walked into, but I think we had like
mm-hmm.
6 oranges, which is let's call it suboptimal.
Yes, that's a
Also,
delicate
like
way
I
to put it.
think because it's the same case with that the small mistake which snowballed later in pairings against you and
Mhm.
second defender. And here, if you picked as a first defender, I think it was correct to play CK
Mhm.
and take the Votan out of the equation.
Yeah,
Because suddenly their CK has no the table pick advantage,
exactly.
and you know who picks the next table, so you can adapt to it.
Yeah.
I'm I don't know if you won the roll or
Judging by the pairing sheets, we won the roll of, yeah. So they have next table.
so so they could have some table, but not the best table possible.
No, true.
Which is basically the one particular table to play with CK.
Mhm.
With those big L's in the middle with the staging position. So yep,
Yeah, that's something we need to evaluate what route was actually correct. But that will come when we actually evaluate the whole pairing
but
sheet soon.
but I have zero clue what's the League of Wotan list, to be honest. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played against this, but Hardguard spam, and I'm not sure if they work against CK or not.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it's
the
weird.
Grotmass detachment.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, it had 25 Terminators.
yeah.
I know, I feel like do they have like Armor of Contempt there? Because if not, it feels like they just
Yeah,
crumble to
they will die.
Gatling
So,
cannons.
yeah, they will die to Gatlings. That's for sure. But everything in the game dies to Gatling.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair, but okay, well.
No, it's more the point that
Uh,
if the Terminators
But
do a whole lot of damage to them.
yeah, they will do
yeah,
the damage first. They will shoot
That as
first
well.
and maybe charge.
Yeah.
So that's the point of the matchup. And like the list is exotic, so you don't have actually time to prepare, like to do the math for all the teams, all the possible things. So it's actually something that needs to be counted, and math needs to be done.
Yeah, for sure.
righto. So let's put that away for now. Dan.
Yes.
So once again, congrats on the win of the
Mhm.
event. But in hindsight, or maybe before that, do you have any takeaways yourself in terms of either factions, personnel, the matrix, how it worked, whatever, anything?
Factions, I think we pretty much were spot on with what we thought our factions would do. Maybe Orcs was the odd one out, but yeah, it's a difficult question to answer because I think, given the personnel that we had available, these factions I wouldn't change at all. But if you were building like the perfect eight and didn't factor in faction specialists and whatever, sure, you would change out one thing or another. But I think the main
Hmm.
takeaway we have is that we probably should have thought of a second counter to melee pressure army defending, aside from Dark Angels. That would have really helped. And
Hmm.
maybe change out Orcs or GK because those were maybe the least exciting things in the Matrix, the more neutral things
Hmm.
to facilitate
Like
that.
Okay.
and for example, take sisters instead of one of those two, and you have the problem solved.
Yeah, we were thinking indeed sisters or your Tau list.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, right. So that basically answered what I was going to ask. So whether you'd change any factions. Majson, what about Team Poland? What do you think?
Yeah,
Are there any takeaways, summaries, or you're just done with it and whatever? What happened
uh,
happened.
no, that was my last tournament in like this year. I did as a captain in Team Poland, so and I'm not sure if I'm doing this next season, so we'll see. But as the event was like testing of the new of some of our guys who are like near the top level,
Mhm.
and they all received feedback, and I got like some ideas what to focus on during the pairing. So yeah, I'm not like focusing on the team composition itself because it was
Mhm.
exotic to Poland as well, as we had some like weird choices which we usually don't take.
Mhm.
But thanks to that, I got like the feedback to myself how the armies and such team composition can work or cannot work. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically I'm happy after the event, and I didn't crash out playing captain and being a TO. So and
Your scores reflect that, so that's good.
but
Well, good for you.
guys, 3 days of resting after that.
Well, all right. Thank you both. I think we've blabbered on for long enough, so let's summarize. It was great to have you on. And yeah, guys, if you like what we do, please like, subscribe, consider becoming a Patreon, YouTube member, what have you. This all helps us grow and helps us deliver more content to you. Dan, thank you very much for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you on. And yes, good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye bye.